Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ballin with Bill on our third season. We're great to have you over here at the Sideline Power Studios. And I have a special friend here today that I've known for quite a while. A very good writer from Omaha World Herald, Stu Pospisil.
Bill, thanks for having me in the studio.
It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
I know you do a lot of high school football. You watch a lot of it and know the personnel around the state. So it's kind of an honor to have you in here to kick off the football season.
Can't believe it's here already.
It came fast, didn't it?
They come faster every year, don't they?
Yes, they do. Yes, last year was a little longer just because of all the circumstances we had to go through.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it's so nice not having to write about school boards and NSAA special meetings and Zoom calls, and we're talking about football.
I know. Back like the old time, visit with coaches and seeing players and everything like that.
Exactly.
Well, the first question I'd like to ask you is, you see a lot of the talent. Tell me about some of our top players in the state that are being looked at in Division I.
Well, you've got several that have already committed to schools. Deshaun Woods is headed to Missouri, and then you've got the Bellevue West duel of Micah Riley and Caden Helms, and they're both off to Power 5 schools. Devon Jackson from Omaha Burke is probably the best of the uncommitteds, and he's a linebacker type, running back, probably bears of linebacker. Koa McIntyre from Fremont Bergen is heading to Wyoming.
Okay.
Those are some of the, and then you've got Jake Applegate from Lincoln Southeast is Husker bound. So is Ernest Hausman from Columbus. He was the first one, I believe, in the Husker fold in state. So, and you got people like Lester Richardson from Bellevue West that I think has a D1 spot someplace. You got some guys, Jake Gassaway and Gage Stenger from Millard South or Northern Illinois bound. I think there's Garrett Oakley, maybe from Columbus Coast, maybe is at Northern Illinois. We got a lot of those group of 5 players still out there. You know, I think your Jacksons and Woods and those guys are pretty well identified. Gotcha.
Any sleepers out west or anything like that you think that might pull up there that could
Vince Genatone from North Platte. His dad played at Washington State. He was in eastern Wyoming, and the dad moved to North Platte to take a coaching job there. I think he could be a D1 prospect. And North Platte, you know, this is the place that produced Jack O'Halloran, who went down to Nebraska, and then some kid named Woodhead.
Yeah. Were a lot of people missed on that kid.
Oh, yeah. Hey, it worked out for him.
Well, it did.
You know, I mean,
he had a great pro career.
Yeah, I mean, you win the Harlan Hill Award, you go 10 years, and now the guy can play a little golf.
Can he really?
He
qualified
for very good. He made the semifinals of the state match play and played in a USGA team event this year. So I think any sport Danny Woodhead touches. I mean, he played soccer, he ran track, football, basketball in high school. He's just a gifted athlete, as we all have learned.
I remember watching him when he was a sophomore in North Platte, playing against my nephew who played for Millard West in the state championship game. And you know, they knew about the brother, but nobody knew anything about him to that game, and he had an unbelievable state championship game.
I saw he and his older brother kind of single-handedly take out Millard North the previous game.
He did.
Out there.
He did. That's the first look they got at Danny, really.
It was. The first look the state got at him, and Danny blocked the kick, and the brother returned it to midfield, and then North Platte kicked the field goal. That was one of Fred Petito's better teams before he got over the hump and won 5.
Because he beat Millard West earlier in the year that year.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. So it was... North Platte through the years has had some tremendous athletes. Yes,
I agree. It's always been a very good, strong high school.
Yeah.
So now we're looking at it. So in Class A, who would you pick? I've kind of seen your ratings, but who you think are your top teams, and who are the surprise teams for this year in Class A?
Well, I think Bellevue West is by acclaim everybody's number one pick. When you return 15 starters, you got a quarterback race between the incumbent and a sophomore with Power 5 offers, including Nebraska already, Danny Kalin. You know, I mean, you're loaded. I mean, you've got Mike Huffman, the coach, thinks it might be his best lines ever. You got the running back, you got the lines, you got all the skill positions covered. A pretty solid defense. That is where they're going to have to. They were exceptional 2 years ago. I mean, they had their best defensive team when they went 13-0.
Right.
Last year wasn't as good, and Kearney caught them.
Right.
And so defense has to get better. Special teams have to improve as well, and he's beefing up the extra point protection teams because that's where they lost the Kearney game last year.
Yeah, they did. That's true.
So then, you know, your next three are the three others that were in last year's semifinals. State champion Westside, Millard South, and Elkhorn South, which reached the state final against Westside.
Right.
So
those are your top teams?
Those are my top four, and then I think Lincoln Southeast and Lincoln East are the two best in Lincoln, and they've got a Thursday night game mid-season that I think will be telling as to which one may have the edge going to the playoffs. Noah Walters from Lincoln East threw for 2,700 yards in 10 games last year.
Wow,
and they went 7-3. And Southeast has very good linemen, including Ryan Gatula's son, who
that's right. Ryan's kid's playing now.
Yep, and he's a very good lineman. Tuyoti, the younger brother, and the son of the Husker coach, he's getting D1 looks. So they're going to have a good line. They got to replace their quarterback. Applegate will do well wherever they play him, and very good on defense.
Well, good. Any ones that we could sneak up? Any ones you've seen out there surprise you through the MG camps and those things like that you go to?
I think actually I avoid summer football. Golf
like
is
Burke and North didn't get to play last year. And
exactly. Those are I've got Burke ranked because they got Jackson. They've got some linemen who saw some time as sophomores, and they have a quarterback who came in from Cherry Creek, Bill. Last name's Katsky, and people in Omaha may remember Roy Katsky. Oh, yeah. The gymnastics coach at Omaha Northwest produced college All-Americans, his grandson.
Okay.
So the family's moved back to, and he's a very good baseball player as well. And so he'll presumably take the reins at quarterback, and I think that's where Burke has the edge over Omaha North.
Okay. How are they returning this year?
Big line. Running back maybe by committee. I talking with Larry Martin. He does going into preseason. He didn't have a number one eye back identified, and you know when you've had the Calvin Strongs and Xander Grays, I mean you've been blessed in the past decade.
Yes,
he doesn't have that caliber identified yet.
Right.
And unfortunately for Omaha North, they're in mourning. Todd O'Neill, the offensive coordinator, his son died. 10-year-old son died suddenly earlier this month.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And so, yeah, it's a real tough situation up there. So our condolences go out to the O'Neills
and the family and everybody. Yeah.
So it's gonna because he was the son was a ball boy and lived and breathed North Vikings. So.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. How about the Papillion schools? How do you think they'll be this year?
You know, I think they're going to be 500.
Okay.
You know, Will Hubert.
They're still fighting, right?
Still fighting. Will Hubert from Papio. I hope he gets a look from D1 somewhere.
Yeah, he's a pretty good player.
Well, he had half of his tackles last year, which there were 84, were for losses, including 19 sacks. Now, this is for a team that won 2 games, but he's a stalwart on that defense. And Papio South has a quarterback that's returning, so that's a plus. There's some schools that have had trouble getting, like Lincoln Southwest, and they have a returning quarterback this year.
Do they?
They need good quarterback play. If I would say through the years, Papio South and Southwest, they've been held back. It's the man behind center hasn't been able to
Do their job yet.
or
Just
be a high level.
Yeah,
I mean,
be competitive.
you know, adequate, but not
Right.
the next level above.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. That's good insight because I mean, it's next weekend, 27th at all, or Thursday night they kick off. Who plays?
Well,
Thursday night?
actually, we start on Friday night.
Who plays Friday this week?
We have week 0 games, including Schuyler at Sandy Creek.
Okay, that's good to know.
Blue Hills at Cross County, and Cross County is going to be a very good 8-man team.
Right.
And then the one I'll go see is Lincoln North Star out at Hastings.
Oh,
So you have an A-B crossover.
That should be an interesting game or not?
Yeah, Hastings lost a lot to graduation. They had a very good athletic class that came through. So they're reloading or rebuilding. I think we'll know more about that on Friday night.
Is North Star going to be decent this year?
They lost 32 seniors, but only won 3 games. So, you know, sometimes, you know, maybe you need a fresh start.
Right.
Tony Cobes has worked very hard to try and get the program rejuvenated there, and they're going to, how they will be hit next year, next year with the opening of Lincoln Northwest.
That's going to be right over there, isn't it?
That's just 4 miles, 5 miles to the.
Why'd they put it so close?
Well, they think that's, well, I think 1, cheap land.
Right.
And 2, they think that there's
Enough
growth
growth
out
there.
that direction. Okay. Just like southeast Lincoln is going to get Lincoln Standing Bear open in 2023.
Okay.
So Lincoln adds 2 new schools. Omaha adds 2 new schools.
Right.
In this next cycle.
That's right. No PS and Lincoln.
Yeah, both
schools.
Westview and Buena Vista. And we're gonna have to learn these school names.
Yeah, add them into the
when you've had all these names locked down for all this time, it's kind of like, okay, Elkhorn North. Of course, my kids will go there, so they're the Wolves. But
right.
Gretna East is going to have a new nickname for us, and I don't think they've picked Standing Bear or Northwest names or school colors.
Okay.
Right? I haven't seen that yet.
Haven't seen that yet. Okay. We're going to take a break, and then we'll be right back. Thank you.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Sideline Power office. As you can see, the 2021 season is well underway. We got a lot of our different products set up, ready to go. As you know, we always strive to provide the latest and greatest technology. So today, I want to show you what's new for 2021. Let's head up to the studio. So we are extremely excited to announce 2 new headset systems we're offering this year from Coachcom, the Cobalt and the Cobalt Plus system. My favorite feature of both of these systems is that they come with the extremely comfortable and lightweight Smart Boom Pro headset. Flip to mute microphone, very comfortable, easy to use, trusted by 97% of the FBS programs. So if you're watching a game on Saturday, most likely they're wearing this exact same headset. Let's start with the Cobalt. Very easy to use, basic 2-channel system. Good for a smaller coaching staff. 10-hour battery life. Just easy to use, very simple, no bells and whistles. The Cobalt Plus, you see a very sleek belt pack. This gets up to 6 channels. A lot easier to expand, customize to the exact setup that you need for your coaches. Cobalt Plus also has the ability for a coach to play or receiver. Strap this on one of your players, you're able to communicate through the headsets right on the field during practice, anything like that. 16-hour battery life, and one of the best systems on the market. If you're looking for more information on any of these systems, feel free to give us a call, shoot us an email. I'm Mark with Sideline Power. Remember, stay powered up.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm here with Stu Pospisil from the Omaha World Herald. And the next question I have, okay, tell me who the top teams are in Class B.
Well, I think it's a tightly bunched pack. Again, I'm going with Aurora,
Wow.
which reached the.
They went far last year.
They went far. They went to the state final. Had an early lead on Elkhorn, and then when you got people like Gannon Gregor and Drew Crystal, who's going to play baseball at Nebraska rather than going pro.
Right. He's a heck of an athlete.
Yeah, he is. He was our athlete of the year. So they're going to drop down some, but Aurora, two big names to remember: Mac Owens, the running back, and Gage Griffin, a returning All-Nebraska lineman, third-year starter. He's very, very good. Next one in the line of Aurora, great offensive lineman.
Wow, because they've put some out there.
They have. And then you got Omaha Scott, low uncharacteristic last year, 6-4.
That was for them.
Their quarterback play was inconsistent last year. I think Caden Becker, who had come over early in the year from Burke with all the OPS shufflings and that, I think he's established. Very good athlete. He's another one that's going to Wyoming along with Koa McIntyre.
Wyoming's done a nice job coming in this state, haven't they?
Craig Bowl has good relationships, and Wyoming isn't that it's
not that far. Straight down 80,
yeah, 8-9 hours. I mean, one of Lester Johnson's kids went out there and had a great career until he got injured and his senior year, and so Scott's going to be back in the mix.
Good deal. I mean, they usually are.
Elkhorn is they got big junior linemen and some skill people, and Mark Wortman played a lot of kids. Yeah, he goes 2 platoon on offense.
Right.
And Mark took retirement, which surprised us a little bit.
I did, me too. I was surprised when he did that.
Dan Felchert's coming in, got promoted.
Right.
Big thing at Elkhorn, John Backus is staying on, and John actually was at Elkhorn before Mark Wortman got there.
He was
out of Litchfield, and John is just a master assistant coach. He knows how to
He's a good guy.
How to blend in and the technique and the finer points. He'll be a good mentor for Dan, but it'll be different. It'll be interesting to see if Dan keeps that double platoon offensive philosophy, or if it's worked well for Elkhorn all these years.
They've done it for a ton of years with Mark.
So
Coach Wortman, yeah. So now is Elkhorn North? What do you think? How do you think they'll be this year?
I think they're around 500.
Okay. Because I know when they first started and everything. Yeah.
Sam Stanley has come over from Elkhorn South and took some of Guy Rosenberg's assistants with him last year, and that's a tribute to a coach when you can have a assistant get a head coaching job and then take some of the assistants. It's like graduation.
Right. Yeah.
And so, Guy's very supportive, and he can be right now because Elkhorn South is A and Elkhorn North is B, so he's not having to compete against them.
Right.
And there's no recruiting among the Elkhorn schools because you have delineated boundaries.
And it's automatic, right?
It's automatic. You cannot
deviate from it.
You can't transfer between the districts.
Like you see in Millard and other places.
Right. And Elkhorn is basically a closed
Well, then you know your personnel. Then it doesn't
right. Well, they're homegrown.
Right. And you don't interfight.
No. So I look for the Wolves to 4 or 5 wins. Kind of like Elkhorn South did in its year 2.
Right.
They return the system, return all 22 starters because they didn't have seniors in the high school last year.
Right.
So I got them stuck in at number 10. They could be either way, but I think 4 or 5 wins and a playoff berth, which will actually come if they get 3 wins.
Right.
The way it works.
The way it works.
But you got Plattsmouth to look at. You got Bennington.
How's Plattsmouth? How's old Bob got Plattsmouth playing?
Kristen Menendez is a very good running back. He's got some good linemen. Quarterback, I think, needs to be settled. But, no, they looked good last year. They got to the semifinals, if I remember right.
Right.
Knocked out McCook early. That turned out to be Jeff Gross's last game.
Right.
And McCook,
he retired.
He's
just principal now, right?
Just principal, and he's got a son up in South Dakota that he wants to
play.
Go watch, and so he felt good about turning it over to Joe Vetrovsky out there, who had paid his dues on the staff.
Right.
So when you can pick your replacement, that's always a nice
thing for the kids too.
Yeah, exactly. So, you're gonna, Blair's gonna have pretty good
How's
team.
Blair going to be? Waverly.
Trevor Brown. If he were 2 inches taller, he'd have offers galore. He's a 2-time All-Nebraska, 6'2", 270, and the kid's got a motor. I mean, he's state wrestling champion.
Right. Kind of like the kid out of Gretna that went to play in Nebraska, played with the Broncos.
Andy Janovich.
Yes, I mean, he was the same, not as big, but the same kind of guy, just a little undersized, but unbelievable athlete, heck of a wrestler.
I think you got to measure the kid's heart rather than his height.
That's one thing they can ever put anything on is your heart.
No.
They can't measure that at all.
And they've got good skill people still coming back. They returned their quarterback, Murray, and they're going to be right there. GI Northwest, Kevin Stein, and he just lost his dad in the past couple weeks. Dick Stein was at Shadron for years and years and produced the McLeans. But Kevin's going to have another solid team there. And, Beatrice, I think, could be on the rise a little bit. Roncalli, if they can stay, they're a smaller squad, so you lose a kid injury like Eric Rogers last year.
That's a big loss.
That's a big loss because then they became throwing only, and Jake Order's a very good basketball player, Bill, but you can't be one-dimensional in Class B.
No. Now, how's Norris? Are they going to be?
Oh, yes. Cooper Hausman, quarterback, 3 for 1,800. They'll be different this year. Last year they had the height of the basketball team. This year they're going to be quicker, and he'll probably run some more. I mean, why not throw when you've got 6'4" and 6'5" wide receivers?
Yeah, especially because that's hard to find a corner matchup that way.
Right. You're usually facing 5'8", 5'9" safeties and cornerbacks.
Right.
So
that's a big help.
So it's a bunch that I could see any of the top 8.
Any surprises in there you think could surprise you?
Ralston perhaps because they return Rashad Madden, who
he's got another year.
He's got another year. Just missed 1,000 last year. He got hurt late in the year, and Tyler Zahn's back as coach. Yeah.
He left Westside, huh?
He left Westside.
He was assistant last year at Westside.
Right. And
he's the head coach again?
He's been in the Ralston system as a teacher.
Right, for a lot of years.
So they needed the wrestling coach, Jason Fink, is sticking to that sport. I'm surmising that he has kids that are coming through the ranks and wants to, stay with one. And so he chose wrestling. And so they asked Tyler to come back. So we'll see what.
Because he was still teaching the Raw. I know that.
Oh yeah, and he was down at Louisville for a couple years.
Then he went to Westside.
Westside as assistant, and so it'll be be interesting to see. Omaha Gross was very young last year.
Okay.
1,000-yard rusher Garcia was a sophomore a year ago, so they could step up. Scottsbluff is probably the best of the West.
Okay.
I think Gehring and Alliance are short on numbers. And,
they're having a hard time with numbers out there.
Yeah, and Lexington, 3-4 wins.
Gotcha.
Perhaps. And Hastings, again, as we said, are they reloading or rebuilding?
Rebuilding, yeah. Okay, big question. C1. I saw your rankings the other day. What are your thoughts on C1?
I apologize, Mark Bramer, but you're never going to be ranked number 9 in my rankings. Defending state champion, ran the table last year. Great sophomore quarterback from a year ago. And, geez, his son has a Nebraska offer banked already. Ben Bramer at tight end.
Okay.
Matt Harrigan, now 20 years later, here's Mark's son.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the talent to repeat.
Gotcha.
And Adams Central's going to be very good.
How are they doing returning wise?
They lose their quarterback, but they return their sophomore running back. They're going to have a big line. The Patriots just are kind of running year after year solid teams.
Gotcha. How about Ashland Greenland? Because you had them up pretty high.
I had them up pretty high.
They finished pretty well last year. They've got
only one loss.
Right.
And Cale Jacobson was in and out of the lineup, and then unfortunately he's had this basketball injury, and so there could be, when he went down, the Blue Jays had a very good backup, and so they will probably mix and match during the year.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that down the line maybe they try and get both on the field.
Right.
That could be a new wrinkle if everything falls into place. But a lot of returning starters for the Jays, and
right.
I've got them the very high St. Paul.
Yes, that's another one you have high.
Some pretty good graduation losses. Tommy Wroblewski, football, basketball stater, went out to Wyoming. But Rusty Wells does a good job up there, and they did that last year, moving up from C2 the year before.
Gotcha.
So
they came from C2.
They came from C2.
So they've had that kind of growth out there, then boys wise to
evidently or just got over the line.
Just over the line, yeah.
Wahoo! I mean, hard to believe that Chad Fox is in year 20 out there.
I know, it's amazing. Yeah, Wahoo's always plays well. They're like Ashland. I mean, they're a good team.
Just reload.
Yeah.
Shadron's saying they're going to have one of their better teams.
Really?
In recent years. Battle Creek was 6-4 last year. I've got them ranked, I think, 6th or 7th, someplace in there, and I'm probably forgetting one or two. That anybody else you can?
No, I think you got. I mean, I'm trying to think.
Kearney Catholic.
Yeah, they always sneak in there.
They sneak in there. Brett Mahoney, I think, is going to shift over from wide receiver to quarterback.
Okay.
Heinrich Harburg, went on to Nebraska, left semester early, so he wasn't coming back anyway. But they're another team that they just reload, and probably may not throw as much, but might have a pretty good balance.
Gotcha. I just think I look at that because I got a lot of friends involved with Ashland, and he's a very good coach, and
yes,
and I saw they've always played very well, and I think he does a good job of rebuilding and building kids up and growth.
Another team that comes to mind is Columbus Lakeview.
Oh yeah, I forgot about them.
Who the Vikings I think return all but 3 starters.
Okay.
And they were just got riddled by injuries early in the year, but they played Pierce tough, other teams tough. I think Pierce drilled them pretty good. So many scores running through my head, Bill. But anyway,
you that every Friday, man. You get that paper, all them scores.
Yeah, I've got them 3rd.
That's right.
I think that they're going to reverse a couple of those early season losses, and while they may not be able to beat Pierce now, they might get a rematch with the Jays in probably later in the might be a good quarterfinal.
Gotcha. Because how big is C1?
C1's about 39.
39
C2 again this year will be the last year that's based on an enrollment number, which I think is 70 boys, and next year they're going to go and split. After you get through Class B, C1 and C2 will be cut in half.
Right down the middle.
Right down the middle.
Well, because C1 has that many more schools than C2.
Right.
How many more does it have, C1?
I want to say 8 or 9.
Okay.
And you got some schools that are ineligible because they opted down.
Right. Okay. Who's going to be good in C2, you think?
Fremont Bergen is starting at number 1.
He always does a nice job.
Yeah.
That's where Larry started. He did a nice job. That always seems to be a good program.
Yeah, and they're being one of the smallest Class C2 schools.
Right.
But Koa McIntyre is one of 15 returning starters. They lost a couple receivers, but I think they've got the replacements, and they made the state finals, played at Edom Field last year, and they probably will step up to Memorial Stadium this year.
Really? Who do you think the other contenders are?
Ord, which beat Bergen last year. Again, some significant graduation losses, but I think they're still going to be solid. David St. Aquinas, Ron Mimic
Oh, he could coach.
Churns them out. You know, you've got some programs that you just naturally pencil in. Another one's Norfolk Catholic with Jeff Beller.
Jeez. Him and the other one you said, the David City one.
Ron Mimic.
Yes, those guys have been since I was coaching at Dan, and I used to see them all the time, and always had solid kids to recruit.
Yeah, 301 coaches. You know, you've got Harrington Cedar Catholic in there.
Right.
The Becker kid is a running back / nose guard. How about that for a combination?
It's usually fullback nose guard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a 1,000-yard rusher, so I mean,
yeah,
we're in the one back sets now. So
there, yeah. So then you pretty much, yeah, you could be a fullback or a running back.
Right. North Platte St. Patrick's had a freshman 1,000-yarder last year.
Oh wow.
So I think they're going to be solid. Donovan Trumbull just outside the ratings.
How are they doing?
They're going to play St. Pat's first night. I think that'll be a good test for the western 2/3 of the state. GICC, new quarterback, but a couple good receivers in Lowry and Herbeck. You know, they were 5-4 last year. Could have maybe had a couple more wins.
Gotcha.
But it's a lot of the same cast of, you know, a lot of parochials.
Yeah, those seem to always get some quality kids there and surprises, and always have some good seasons. I mean, have some good teams. I mean,
exactly.
And you always get a surprise there when you read the scores on those C1s and C2s. Sometimes some good upsets.
Yep.
More than you do sometimes in Class A.
Oh yeah, Class A is pretty much chalk.
Yeah,
and that's sad.
Every once in a while it happens, like it happened to Kearney when they upset Bellevue West.
Right, which is one of the all-time great upsets.
Right, because I thought, you know, I had Westside and Bellevue West.
When we were in high school, I mean, for one thing, you didn't have the pinball scores.
No.
You know, so
we were all in I.
You're in I, and you know you're running between the tackles, and and the clock moved, I think, more back then.
Oh,
you had shorter games.
Right.
And, you know, it'd be 12-7, 13-10 if you had a field goal kicker.
So you could get an upset because the two scores were closer. You get a turnover
the
and have an
teams
upset.
are closer. I
Yeah.
mean, unfortunately, we've got a wide disparity between the top and the bottom of A, and I don't know how you solve that.
Yeah, I don't know either. Because you're right, there is a disparity.
Because if you divide and put the top teams in a AA and the rest in A, especially in Omaha and Lincoln, you're going to have schools recruit against the teams in A. Well, that's the next division down. You don't want to play down here. You want to play with us.
Right.
So those teams down here are never going to get a chance to heal.
Right.
And
if you do that,
there's some schools that have had a hard 20, 25 years.
Oh, yeah. Like, I remember when we were all young, Benson was a heck of a program.
Oh, yeah. And then they resurged in the 90s with Lonnie Tapp, and they had Randy Stella and Ken Keith, who went on to the Colts. And, you know, they haven't played a real significant game since they lost to Prep on 3 field goals or with a strong wind one night. The next year,
about that game, yeah.
I think they've won 20 games since that loss, and that was 2000.
Yeah. Was that Lonnie's last year?
No. He stayed on until about 2005.
Did he retire? I
or a little later than that. But, you know, Northwest has been mired. South, Brian, after Tim Bond left.
Those programs were all salty.
Yeah.
At one time.
I mean, Northwest with Frank Hamill and South with Jack Olin and John Feynman.
Yeah.
You know, now some of these areas have turned into soccer hotbeds, and that's fine. But
they do take a tough time with football trying to play those bigger Class A's. I mean, they get walloped.
Right, but if you take them out of the mix, then they're never going to have the chance to have a year of unexpected expectations to kind of draw people back in.
Right, I know. It's a good point.
It's frustrating.
It is.
I don't know how you get it healed.
No, I don't know. I can't answer that question either. It's above me. Last one, Class D. Who you got your top 5 in Class D?
Well, you got 8-man 1, 8-man 2, and 6-man.
Okay.
And we'll take 6-man is Sterling, which made the state finals last year.
Yeah, they did. That's right.
And 8-man 2, Kennesaw.
Really?
Some guy named Schnitzler, Craig Schnitzler,
That's right.
has been there for quite a while. he's had a bunch of starters since their freshman year, senior year. You know, the sense of urgency's there, and you know, Doug Goltz, who's the 8-man legend of all time for coaching.
Right.
You know, he says you gotta watch out for them and for Sandhills Thedford.
Okay.
Dane Picorni out there at Sandhills is a really tough ball player.
Okay.
And then Burwell.
Very well.
Are they going to catch a break? They have been in the past 3 state finals, Bill. They're over. They lost
Kind of like
in
the
double.
Buffalo Bills and Minnesota Vikings.
Lost in double overtime last year to Dundee County
That's
Stratton.
heartbreaking.
It is, and they've lost an assistant coach, and they had a graduating senior killed in recent months. So they're playing with a heavy heart as well, and maybe
That's sad.
maybe their memory will
Yeah, you never
inspire them.
Yeah,
It can work both ways.
Yeah, it can.
But yeah, no, Luke Gideon out there. I mean, to have a team just get there
All
3
3
straight years. So these
Not
seniors
come
are
away.
hungry.
Oh yeah. Yeah, not be a bridesmaid, not a bride.
Nobody's ever been a 4-year finals sweep without a title.
No, I don't think that's ever happened.
No.
Somewhere they got to become a bride.
Well, it might or a groom, and it might be this year.
Might be this year. Well, I tell you what, I really appreciate the time, and I learned a lot myself today and got caught up on what to look for this year when I watch high school football, which is I love Friday Night Lights and high school football, so I'm really looking forward to it. But I do appreciate your time out here today, coming out and spending your day with us here at Ballin with Bill.
Hey, I appreciate it greatly, Bill, and we'll look forward to doing this again down the line.
All right. Well, out here you know I was a pro wrestler, Stu. You know
yes.
I was, and we got to finish up with my final thing here. Put my hand here, and I'm asking for money or whatever I need with my hush, hush, hush. I used to come out in Japan, all those places. But here we go on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hush, hush, hush. See you all next week. Thanks, Stu, very much.